Abandonment issues. What are they and what can you do about them? My name's Clayton Olson, and in this video with Christina Lewis, we talk about abandonment issues and how they can wreak havoc on your dating and relationship love life. We also talk about a maneuver that you can make with your thinking that allows you to begin to break free from this pattern and show up in a way where you can create a relationship that lasts with the right kind of guy. What often people miss is that abandonment issues can actually have you choosing the wrong types of men over and over again. Now, if this is your first time to my channel, I want to encourage you to subscribe because my aim here is to create content that is a cut deeper than what's out there and empower you to be able to show up how you want to show up in relationships and dating. And if you're a woman watching this video, I've got a masterclass called The 3 Keys to Attracting and Keeping a High Quality Man. It's some of the best content that I've put out there, and the link is below in this description. So without further ado, enjoy the interview with Christina.
I love that you touched on whatever you're looking for, you're going to find, and whatever you're afraid of, you're actually going to create.
Beautiful. Yeah.
In what ways do you see that playing out and sabotaging women in relationships?
Yeah, great question. Well, there can be these different schemas that we might have running from childhood within us. One very common schema that I see that plays out, and both men and women, and I do a lot of work with women, so I see this one pretty often, is an abandonment schema. A schema of them feeling like they're not actually worthy, not worthy of the love that they're wanting. So what ends up happening is because they've got an identity level story about who they think they are and whether they think that they don't think they're worthy, they will look into their relationship, look out into their relationship, and they'll sort for reasons and confirmation that they're not actually worthy.
Yeah.
There's a couple ways that this happens. One of them is that somebody who doesn't feel worthy might end up picking a partner who knows that dance of perhaps not giving the type of attention, not giving the type of presence, and maybe half-assing their way in the relationship, that then confirms to that woman, yeah, look, like I'm not worthy. And it's like you've picked a partner that doesn't actually have a lot of emotional skill at making you feel worthy. So it can happen right in the beginning at partner selection. And it can also happen within the relationship where perhaps your partner is loving, perhaps your partner is trying to give you attention in their own language, their own way of communication, but you're not seeing it. And you're seeing it either as fake, inauthentic, or try hard, or that they're doing it because you told them to and they don't really want to do it, so therefore they feel obligated, or you're thinking they're feeling obligated. And this can be incredibly damaging because it's actually seeing the world then through our own insecurities, which just brings more of that certainty to us, which can drive people out of our lives and ultimately have us really disconnect from the most important people in our life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just want to empathize with any woman out there that's dealing with that. That's actually a schema that's very familiar to me that I've had to work, through for many, many years. My dad left when I was a little girl, and so I had those abandonment issues, and I know exactly what you're talking about there, Clayton. Like I was driving the good guys away because they were like, whoa, what is going on? And then I was drawing to these guys that needed to be fixed or mothered, right? That I could help, and then I would feel guilty when I knew like this wasn't working for us. I would feel guilty about leaving the relationship because I thought, oh no, what are they going to do without me?
Right.
Right. And then that's a whole nother cycle.
Yeah.
So it's beautiful to be free. And I just want to empathize with any of you ladies that might be in that model right now. But let's talk about what it takes to make what does it take to make a relationship work? Like, what are the secrets to building a rock solid relationship? I know a lot of the women in this audience are feeling like they're giving too much and they're not getting enough back. And they're trying and they're trying and they're trying. And they want to model something different for their kids. But when they look around, what we see in the media and in the movies and what our friends tell us we should and shouldn't be doing in relationships, it gets really effing confusing. Help us clear that up, please.
Yeah, it's a lot, right? There's a lot going on. And so I think the first step that comes to mind as I hear you talking about this is that, number one, I just want to say this too about the abandonment schema piece.
Sure. Yeah.
It's super common. And men have this as well. It's a way that our child self creates a decision or makes a decision about us so that we can survive situations in the past. And the step of being able to get out of this, to being able to heal that, is the first step is awareness. and becoming present to it. So to your point, if someone is in this cycle or they're wanting to create a healthy relationship and they're wanting to get out of this world of perhaps insecurity and feeling like whatever you do is not enough and there's no changing it, into a world of feeling what? Appreciated, respected, loved, desired, connected, present. I think the first step is becoming aware of exactly how this world is unfolding. So what is it that's happening in the relationship that you are not consenting to or that you don't want? And the question I would have then is, where is your part in creating that? So what is it that you might be doing, or how might you be showing up that is actually allowing this thing to continually happen? How are you contributing to it? And now that is not to put blame on you, right? That is not to say that you're doing something wrong or that it's your fault. It's to say that that's your responsibility, that there is actually power in seeing that, wow, wait a second, if this game that I'm not wanting in my relationship that's unfolding, me feeling perhaps unimportant and underappreciated, there's some way that I'm showing up that is perpetuating that. What is it that I'm doing? So getting some awareness around that. And some examples could be, it might be around boundaries.
Examples. Yeah. Because I really want to get into a few examples there to help everybody understand. Yeah.
So it could be boundaries. Where are you not drawing healthy boundaries and staying connected to yourself in the relationship? Okay. Where are you giving, not from a place of generosity, but from a place of giving to get? That could be a game right there.
That's a big one. Can we just stop right there for a second? Like that. I mean, we're taught to do that. As children, we're taught, well, if you do this for mommy, then mommy will give you candy, right? And if you get an A, then we're going to give you a reward. I mean, there's this whole, I mean, it's everywhere. Yeah. Like, how do we recognize if we are doing that, and how do we stop? And then what do we do instead?
Here's the thing. One of the common occurrences that happens when I'm working with clients is we uncover some of these games that they might be playing with themselves, where they're giving to get, or perhaps they're choosing to see somebody as guilty rather than innocent that they love, right? It's a guilty until proven innocent mentality. So sometimes when we uncover these games, what I see happen is there's actually a lot of self-judgment and accusations towards self that occur that just actually entrench the pattern. If you contact this pattern, then you're like, oh my God, now I feel bad. I can't believe I've been doing this. Oh, I hate this part of myself. That actually entrenches the pattern more. So when you recognize the pattern, and you recognize perhaps your contribution in creating the dynamic you don't want, it's to start to realize that perhaps that pattern at some point in your life was completely acceptable and maybe your only option to get out of a dangerous situation or understand and make sense of the world around you. Typically, we get these relational patterns that are destructive from our parents, from watching our parents interact, and also perhaps interacting with a wounded parent who's bringing their own wounds into raising us as children. So we then create a game that helps us survive that situation, and then we get into an intimate relationship, and then it flares up and comes up there. So if we can have compassion for that child inside of us, we can have compassion for that old program, realize that we only did these things because we are trying to survive a situation where we felt like we had no other option. We can start to approach it with a little bit more curiosity then, and a little bit more openness, to now release the old pattern from a place of love and appreciation and understanding, and then beginning to construct, okay, well, how do I want to be in this relationship? I want to be generous. I want to be open. I want to be able to give and not expect anything in return. Well, what would I have to believe about a relationship? What would I have to believe about myself? What would I have to believe about my partner in order to give from a place of being truly generous and not expecting anything in return? Well, maybe I'd have to believe that the relationship is actually a container and a platform for me to become my best self. And it's not about me getting something from them, but maybe it's actually about me becoming something. Got it. Okay. What would I have to believe about my partner in order to be able to give and not expect anything in return? Maybe they have to believe that they're actually a really good person and that I trust my love for them, and that if they're doing anything that I don't understand or that feels hurtful or activates my old like wounding, I can give them the benefit of the doubt. And I can say, okay, maybe they're just ignorant and this is an opportunity for me to actually be vulnerable and express the impact and talk about possibility with them, about what we could create together. So what's happening here is there's an element of awareness, becoming aware of the pattern. It's going to a place of self-compassion around the way that you may have been showing up. It's beginning to create and understand the dynamic the new dynamic that you're wanting. And it's getting really curious about like, who would you have to be to show up that way in the relationship? And now these are things that you can journal about. These are things that you can really start to just ask yourself and free write. Or you can also get somebody to help guide you through this, like a coach like yourself or me.
Yeah. And it's so valuable, right? I mean, I think a lot of us, especially as women, are told we're supposed to figure everything out on our own and we should already be perfect by now and we shouldn't ask for help and we're supposed to be giving all the time. Right. And then doesn't that feed, I'm seeing this connection here, doesn't that feed the whole give to get? Because if I'm just giving and giving and giving, so that's just another reason to have compassion for yourself. If you do find that you are one of us who gives to get sometimes or all the time, understand that you've been trained by this world to believe that you're supposed to figure everything out on your own and you're supposed to take care of everybody else except for you. So of course you're giving to get because you've got nothing to give in the first place and you're going under nurtured, right?
All right, I hope you got a lot of value from that video. If you are looking to get in touch with Christina and you like what she had to say, go ahead and look in the description. I've got all of her contact information in there. And again, if you are a woman who's watching this video and you're really wanting to take your understanding of this to the next level so that you can show up as a clean and clear, powerful woman who can attract a high quality man, again, click on that link below in the description to register for the masterclass, 3 Keys to Attract and Keep a High Quality Man. I'll see you in the next video.